Right, on to the second game. I'm just checking that it loads properly. There we go. So this is the sequel. It has a lot more bosses. In the first game, this tier list is only the story bosses, the main bosses. This one's got... Is this every boss in the game? It's got a lot less bosses than the first one, but they're more impactful. I'm only going to do the story ones, so from this red guy here onwards, I'm not ranking them. They are... Oh, I'll tell you what they are. These are required bosses that aren't story bosses. That's it. I don't think this is all the bosses. I think there are more optional bosses that aren't on this list, but these 9 at the end here are required bosses that aren't story bosses. That's why they're on the list. Okay, I'm not going to rank them because basically all of these were first try. I mean, this guy took me 2 tries, this guy took me 3 tries maybe, but I'm not going to rank them because they're not really story games. Right. Boss ranking. I can't remember your name. Is it like Leto or something? It's hard to rank some of the earlier bosses because I beat her first try, or him, I don't know. I beat him first try. I don't really remember the boss fight as much as I do remember them in the first game. Leto, I'm gonna put a B tier. You know, there's nothing crazy about the boss. I could barely even remember the fight. I mean, one of the best characters in the game once you unlock them. But in terms of a boss fight, it's a good first boss fight, but is it massively overshadowed by Sigrid? Yeah, 100%. Right, Yolvin, A tier. Yolvin is the second boss in the game. Unlike the first one, he is the compulsory second boss. You don't really get a choice. His boss fight is again quite easy. I think for me, 2 tries to beat him, only because I didn't. He's one of 2 bosses in this game to have a second health bar. There are some of the bosses in the first game where when you beat them, you fully defeat them, they get a second health bar. I didn't know this game was going to do the same thing. I sort of assumed it did, but I didn't really, I was ready for it not to do the same thing. So I got taken by surprise. I did die. He does have a very cool eldritch looking horror-y second form. Not as good as the ones in the first game. I think he's got the best background of any boss fight though. His background is beautiful, like a ruined clock tower. The city is on fire. It's probably the best arena of any of the bosses in either game. But he's good. His second form bumps him up a tier. Otherwise, he's just like an all-round good starter boss. I might be a bit inclined to put him in B tier, but we'll see how the rest of the bosses go. I'm going to put them in the order that I did them, because that makes more sense in my brain. Okay. The Shackled Beast. Probably A tier or B tier. I feel like I might move these bosses all down a tier. Well, we'll see. He is a good fight. Mildly challenging. Took a few tries, I think. Again, all 3 of these bosses, when you get them as playable characters, whatever, when you unlock their abilities as abilities, my words aren't wording, they are, you can use them all the way to the end game. They are some of the best abilities in the whole game. I use all 3 of these. I think I used all 3 of these in the final boss fight, or these 2, or these 2. I used 2 of them. I used 2 of the 3, and then I used the default weapon. Again, nothing massively crazy to say about the boss. It's just a good boss fight. It's a good boss fight. He uses melee attacks, which I always appreciate. He does have some sort of ranged attacks, but they're good. They feel satisfying to dodge. They do a lot of damage. They can be difficult when you first time seeing them, but just an all-around good boss fight, solid boss fight. Nothing to hate. Real mid. First try, or second try, I don't remember. He just does some runs at you and attacks you. Like a default, like a just a wolf. Imagine a wolf in a video game, and now make it a boss. Alright. It's not terrible, it's just he just sort of exists. I don't know. He's oh, my voice is like cracking. He's just there. Garm. I have a Garm B2. I like Garm. He's kind of like Shackled Beast, where they do lots of damage. Their attacks can be difficult when you first see them. Garm is definitely the boss that took me the most amount of time up until this point to beat. He's got an attack in his second phase or his third phase, whatever, that is annoying. It's not necessarily difficult or challenging to work around. It's just annoying. It's just basically one of his same attacks from earlier, but it does some AoE rocks that fall from the sky. You can't hit him when he does it. It's annoying. You know, just... I don't want to bump him down a tier just because his attack is annoying, but it's just not as solid a boss fight as the two above him. So... Lars can go... C tier. He's very, very easy. You fight him 3 or 4 times. He's kind of like a static boss. He just sits on the wall, and occasionally he'll jump across to the other wall, and it just goes back and forth. His attacks are easy to dodge. They're well telegraphed. It's just a bit boring. I see what they're doing by making you fight an easier boss multiple times, but then they do that multiple times in the game, and I feel like his is just the weakest one. Again, not a bad boss. You know, D tier is if I think it's a bad boss. C tier is like meh. But he just exists. The king of the garbage heap, or whatever he is the king of the trash area, the sewers. I'm gonna put him here. I don't really have anything bad about the boss. His first phase is kind of difficult. His most difficult phase, definitely. Other than that, his second phase, his third phase, kind of easy. He doesn't really do anything. Once you get him out of his first phase, it's sort of just like a slog. You just are doing damage to him. He doesn't really do many attacks. It's very simple. So I don't really have any hate for him. Just, I don't really have much praise for him either. He's another boss that has a second health bar when you get rid of his first health bar, but not the most intriguing. Very, very middle of the road. Number 7. His boss fight, again, I beat him first try. I'm going to put him here. Solely because I beat him first try, and I don't remember the boss fight. Like Leto. I remember his attacks, because you get them after you beat him, and I used them. Again, these are like some S tier abilities. His arena's cool. The attacks you use against you are cool, but it's kind of easier, I think. Again, when you fight this guy, the other bosses here, no. When you fight this guy, you have to fight 3 bosses and then fight him as a 4th boss, kind of like a boss rush. But that means all the bosses are easier, as opposed to fighting 4 full-on story boss level difficulty bosses. I don't really have any hate. He's one of my favourite characters. I like his design, I like his lore. Meh. He's meh. Lelouch, I think her name is. Is it Lelouch? I'm gonna put I'll put her right here, or maybe top of B tier. We'll think about it in a sec. She is the equivalent of Elaine from the first game. She spams spells. She teleports. However, I find her much more fun. It's in a bigger arena. There's more space to dodge the range attacks. In this game, your range attacks options are much better. Your movement abilities are much better. So it's not really a problem that she's at range, because it's a lot easier and a lot more fun to fight her at that. Sort of the only boss that really does a lot of that range attacks teleporting away from you, at least from the story bosses, because the rest of them are mostly melee attacks. I like it. She's got one attack where she summons in a droid that heals her. I don't like that attack. That attack is keeping her at the bottom of A tier. I guess that ability is not an attack. I don't like bosses that spawn things in. Yes, her spawning stuff in, she's spawning in something that does no damage to you. But it means I need to focus on killing it, which takes my focus away from the boss, means I get hit a little bit easier. If she didn't have that attack, she'd probably be top of A tier. But because she's got that one little drone healing ability that heals the boss, I mean, who wants a boss that heals? Right? Because then I just don't really like that as a concept, the boss healing itself. If you want a second health bar, take a second health bar. Right? If you want more health, take more health. If you want to take less damage, take less damage. But healing, it's sort of undoing my progress. I don't like it. A tier. Bottom of A tier. Declan, I hate Declan. My least favorite boss in the game, maybe. Unlike the first game, we don't even have a D tier. There's no bosses I don't like, just bosses I think are mid. There are some bosses in this game that I think are rubbish. Declan, I saw someone else's ranking of this game. I was just interested in looking at someone else's ranking, now I was going to do it. They put Declan like S tier, top of A tier, you know, one of the best bosses in the whole game. I don't see it. It's an underwater boss. The underwater movement mechanics are different to the normal movement mechanics, obviously, because it's omnidirectional. It's like a plane level in Cuphead. You can move wherever you want. I don't like that in this game. It's the only boss you fight like that. There's no underwater combat. Well, there's very minimal underwater combat the rest of the game. And most of the time I just skip those enemies because I don't want to do underwater combat. He's very difficult in comparison to, some of the other bosses in the game. But most of that's just because he's underwater. And, I'm not used to fighting underwater. I keep dodging too far, not far enough. The momentum is different. It was just not fun to fight because it felt like I was fighting using different mechanics, a different game system. It's like if you're playing Hollow Knight and one of these bosses appears in Hollow Knight, it's a completely different way of playing that's more different than just if you're fighting someone with melee attacks or someone with ranged attacks. It just threw me off. Hey, it was creative. Was it fun? No. Unfortunately for D tier, we're going to get these two bosses here as well. Do I remember which way around they go? Yes, I do. They look very similar, but they're two different bosses. This one, summon stuff. In fact, I'm going to put it higher. This one, summon stuff. All the boss does is summon other enemies. I'm not a big fan of that, in the slightest. It wasn't very fun. It was kind of easy, so it goes above the other two. Didn't have to fight it for that as long. It just summons stuff. It doesn't do any attacks. It just summons stuff to fight you. It's and it's static. It doesn't move. It's terrible. Not good boss design. Whatever. This other one, I think they're called Velgrind and Velnest, but don't ask me which one's which. I don't think it summons stuff, but it's kind of a static boss. And I don't really have anything specific. Like these two, I've got specific reasons why I don't like them. I just didn't like the boss. I didn't find it fun. It's nothing to do with being the movement or something stuff. I just didn't find it fun. I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't have a good time fighting the boss. It annoyed me. It stressed me out. It wasn't the most difficult boss, but I just didn't enjoy it at all. Even something like Viol, where it's just kind of a meh boss. Meh what? It's kind of a mid boss. Kind of boring. But this guy is just not fun to fight. Again, another boss that a lot of people rank very highly, the same with Declan. I hate them. Hate's a bit of a strong word. I don't like fighting them. Not fun. There's nothing really specific, I just don't like it. Rybolg is going to go middle of B tier. His second fight, he doesn't really fight. His second fight could have just been a cutscene. So when you fight him the second time, he's injured and he barely does any damage to you. Just think the Hollow Knight at the end of his fight, where he just stops attacking you and sort of starts attacking himself, and The first fight against Rybolg, again, sort of a basic fight against someone with long range attacks. Nothing bad about it, nothing great about it. Again, B tier because it's pretty, it's decent. It's easy, but it's decent. You know, nothing insane. Now we've got the 3 Gilroy fights, and I'm going to use this guy to represent. He's got his 2 different forms. Like with the final boss in the first game, there's 2 different boss fights you can do depending on if you're doing the normal ending or the true ending. And in the first game, it's not that different. It's just basically if you do the true ending, they get another phase, another health bar. But in this game, it is very different, and so I'm going to use this. I can't remember what this guy's name. I'm going to use this guy to represent the true phase. So on the image, it's going to look like this guy is a crazy good boss, but in reality, he's probably like mid-high beta. Okay. I'm going to start with the weakest one, which is the second Gilroy fight, which is going to be placed up in A tier. We'll go... Oh God, he might even be top of A tier. This guy might have the top 3 spots in the game. Yeah, go on then. Top of A tier. His middle fight is weird because it's easier than the first fight. And easier than the second fight. It's just easy. I don't know. It's a very good fight, but it's just kind of, it feels weird. It's easier than the first fight. It's not as, he doesn't have crazy abilities like he does in the third fight. It's like a middle stage starter Pokemon, right? Where it looks kind of, like it's not cute like the first phase. It's not badass looking sick monster kaiju in its final phase. It's just kind of like a weird middle ground. And I think it's the weakest of the boss fights, fight-wise, but it's still better than all the other bosses in the game. Like, just because I'm saying it's like a mid-fight, in compared to its other phases, if we were comparing it to the rest of the other bosses in the game, yeah, it's better than all of them. Gilroy, all 3 of his fights, are the best 3 fights in the game, my opinion. Right. Gilroy will do his default final phase. I'm going to put in S tier, or high A tier. I'll put it high A tier, just because it's really easy, and I did it on my first try. Or my second try. His normal final boss fight, not in his true ending form, is easy. He's not that strong. Yes, he's got some really cool attacks, which is why he's top of A tier, and it's really fun to fight. It's kind of like this, the second phase, not second phase, the second phase fight him. It's similar to that, more similar to that than the other 2, I feel. Again, take everything I said about the last boss, basically the same. I mean, it's easier. There's a trend of him becoming easier the more you fight him. But I think it's better. Top of A tier. Gilroy the Administrator, in his first fight, might be the most difficult boss in the whole game. I think Gilroy's first phase, not first phase, I keep saying phase. The first time you fight him is about halfway through the game, 2/3 of the way through the game, and you find out this guy's the main villain, the main antagonist. You fight him 3 times. It's very, very difficult and so fun. Take basically everything I said about Julius in the first tier list, apply it to Gilroy. He's difficult. He's got a lot of attacks that are difficult. They do a lot of damage. But when you get in that rhythm of dodging and parrying and dashing, whatever, so fun, so rewarding. And when I beat him, and then I found out I'm gonna have to fight him again later on, I was happy. I was like, this is great. I want to fight you later on. You're an incredible boss fight. But I'm gonna switch these around. This can be the normal one, this can be the true one, because I want the true one to be the top. I think I'll read that in a sec. I just want to finish up with this guy. I think true form, final form, true ending, you know, whatever his actually called, I don't remember. Gilroy the Administrator, the true final boss of the game, is the best boss in the game. Like, it's not as difficult as the first time you fight him. I think the first time you fight him is still the most difficult time. But he is so incredibly fun. He's got some attacks. The first time you fight him, it feels like, what the hell is this? How on earth am I ever supposed to dodge this? This is ridiculous. What sort of absurd BS is this? But then by the time when you start cooking him up, you start piecing him, you're winning the fight, you're beating him. It's so satisfying. It's so visually great. I remember the music being good, the arena's good. You know, the culmination of the story feels better than in the first game, because this is a character you've seen throughout the game. You've seen him murdering people. You've seen him, defeat a character that you like. You know his relation to you, the player, and some of the other characters in the game. It feels like the true, the game has been building up to this, and it delivers incredible best boss fight in the game. Best boss fight in the game. Not as good as Julius in the first game, but yeah, I'd say Gilroy is it would be S tier in the first game. Probably above Sigrid. Sigrid's good, but Sigrid is good for a different reason.